Okay, so welcome to the show, everybody. Today's topic, our very first show, is going to be the meaning of relationships. We're going to actually look at relationships from a few different perspectives. One is looking at them from a spiritual perspective, and then we're going to offer quite a few tips to help you how manage your relationships, how to maintain communication within your relationships, and then dealing with expectations. So I'm your host, Maria Palma, and um, my co-host here is Moya Ramos. Hello, Moya. Are you there?
Hi. Hi, Maria. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So hopefully this, and, I'm very excited about this new venture going on, or actually a new journey.
Me too.
So, okay, so let's, I guess when I was doing, some research, I came across this quote that says, "When you stop expecting people to be perfect, you can like them for who they are." And that was a quote by Donald Miller. And I think that's kind of the basis of relationships as far as, we do expect a lot within our relationships. And I think when we start to let go of those expectations, we can have better relationships. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. But it's the journey of letting go of those expectations that's the difficult part. If you let go of the expectations and you allow people to be who they are, and but be comfortable with that and accepting that you cannot change them, and you have to see the fulfillment of them being who they are into your life, it allows you a freedom that you didn't even realize existed.
Yeah. And I think it goes to the first, our first relationship which is, our top priority, which should be God and our relationship with God, and looking at every relationship we have within, each. Um, okay, let's I guess start from the point of that every relationship that you have is a spiritual learning
Right.
experience. Do you agree?
Right. And yeah, I agree. And I think it's a good way to start the topic is what is the most intimate, personal, primary relationship that you have. And if you're either atheist or of a certain religion, be it Islam or Christianity or Judaism, Hindu, Buddhism, the number one relationship is with yourself. And if you want to call it a higher power, you want to give it homage, or you want to just say this is just my moral compass, my code of conduct, as an atheist would. I do believe that is the most important and primary relationship you have from when you are first born until you have your last breath.
Mhm. Right. And for people who, like you said, just looking at it from so many different perspectives, I've been able to look back and see that every relationship I had, there's everyone has a lesson to be learned. And then when we
Right.
don't learn that lesson, we keep meeting, we go through cycles and meet the same type of person who maybe, we try to learn that same lesson. If we don't learn the first time around, we go through another person. We need another person that tries to teach us.
Yeah, I agree. It's and you know what? For a long period of time, unless you're lucky enough to be in tune with who you are at such a young age, but I think the majority of us, for a very long time, we're not even mindful of the fact that we keep getting exposed to the same people over and over again. We just say, oh, why? Why am I having to deal with this again and again and again? And we just get frustrated and try to figure out what has attracted that person to you, where in reality you've been attracted to that person or environment or situation. And once you turn it and you realize it's really an internal relationship, and it's a dialogue that is going on with you, and you are not bringing them per se. They're not searching you out per se, or maybe they are, but for the primary purpose of this topic is you are searching them out. And so once you come to the conclusion and understanding that that's pretty much based on all your relationships. Maria, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. That's based on all your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're able to have I think a clearer, calmer, more constructive dialogue with that inner self and higher being, or moral compass, or God, how your reality works with that level of mindfulness and understanding.
Mhm. Yeah, and then also when you can look at everything, all your relationships from a spiritual perspective, you're able to kind of let go of control, because each of us has an idea of what every relationship should look like or be like, and
yeah.
And so we go into relationships maybe trying to control, especially with a spouse or a partner or a business partner or even a coworker. We try to, I know that I used to be kind of a control freak, and I wanted things to be done my way, and I still do sometimes. So, but at some level I still do, and I'm learning how to let go of that control, and just kind of let go and let God, that thing. And I'm trying to be mindful of that at all times, because we try so often, we want someone to act a certain way and be a certain way, but ultimately they're going to do what they want to do, and you can't. There's nothing that you can do. You can just kind of just let go and let God handle everything.
Right, and I think it's at least for me, it's a safety issue. If I could control the environment around me, if I can control the people around me, including my children, then everyone would be safe, I would be safe, and it would be calming. When in reality, it does the opposite, and it repels the one things that are so important to you, and it causes chaos. But when I decided to let go, I literally thought the world was going to open up and swallow me, and it was going to be the end of the world. That was the end of the world. I was waiting for the ground to open up, and you know what? It didn't happen. It was a slow process, but it allowed me the freedom to love without expectation, without judgment, and it allowed me to love myself and be comfortable in my own skin. And the sun is still shining, the world's still going on, so I was wrong. It was a
I
nice
think that
way to be proven wrong.
it has a lot to do with our subconscious, because our subconscious always wants to keep us safe. So we kind of act out that those subconscious thoughts.
Right. Right. Well,
Right.
a lot of your subconscious, the number one is the all conscious, the beginning and the end, the spark of life, God, and but then you have to look at the intimate relationships you had as you were growing up. Did it reinforce negative things, or did it reinforce positive things? And were those positive things helpful for you to form a non-biased relationship with other people, or were the negative things helpful? And you have to be able to look at it objectively, which is very hard. It's very hard, and I think that happens with age, that you're able to look because you start to walk in your parents' shoes in certain times of your life as you age. So when you're able to look at things objectively, you can say, oh, okay, I remember an experience I had as a child, and it was a positive experience, but it reinforced the fact that I needed to control or succumb to the controlling person so it would be good. Or I learned a very negative experience where I learned I had to control or succumb to the controlling person so it would be balanced. And so as you grow older and you have your experiences and you are doing that same thing over and over again, and as I say, keep doing the same thing over and over again and it's still not working, that's insanity. You realize it's not working. That's, I think, when you take a leap of faith and you step back and say, okay, now what? I surrender, because what I'm doing isn't working. And I think that is when you inevitably get the power back. You get the freedom that you've always had. You just believed the falsehood of what you're raised into and what our society as a whole believes.
So I think when, we're letting go of control and going on with our daily lives and our relationship with these people, of course there's communication, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why there's so much disharmony between people, is because there is a lack of communications, and that we don't, let's say, express our expectations, or just expressing what we want out of the relationship.
Right. And and for me, and I'm pretty sure for a lot of people, you didn't even know what your expectations were. You didn't even know the desires you wanted. I mean, you grow up and everyone says you have to work hard, you get a good job, or you go and you travel and you do this and everything will be all right. And you have good friends and a good family, or you struggle, whatever your thing is. And honestly, we are not raised to have a dialogue of what are your desires? What are your needs and wants for yourself? And are you okay and comfortable that you probably will not get everything you need from one particular person in a friendship or in a family member? And then if you're in a monogamous, intimate relationship, you are never going to get the full 100% of all your needs and desires. So the needs and desires that you and your partner can interact with, what are they? And a lot of people don't know what they are. They've never asked that question of themselves or their partner. So, yeah, I totally agree. Communication is the key. Communication, letting your partner know. I mean, people have been together for years and never explain what they have or desire.
And a lot of people just end up venting to other people about, another person, oh gosh, they do this and that, and you're like, well, did you tell them how you feel? And they're like, no. Well, that's the thing. We're not telling people how we feel about anything, and we end up venting to somebody else and expect things to change.
Right. I know, and exactly. You are angry, you're hurt that your partner or your friend or family member isn't giving you what you want, and then you go to your close friends and you vent of the things that they need and want, but you're telling the friend who has nothing to do with it, and in your mind, how you're articulating it to maybe a friend or another family member, you really in reality never articulated it to the person that needed to hear it.
Yeah. And so it all, it really is all about communication, because I don't know, I think it's mind-boggling to me that I don't know what the statistics are now, but so many people are going through divorces nowadays, and I think it all comes back to communicating what you want, communicating, um, how you feel, and
Right.
and then also part of communication is listening, listening to the other person and what they
I know.
want or what
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
need.
Being mindful and respectful of what your partner is saying, and you can take it to a very primitive level of just having a pet and listening to their wants and needs, is there, especially canines, as they respond to your wants and needs, and then it goes up to the hierarchy, and then of friendships, families, long-term romantic relationships, and then as a society, it is huge impact of not being able to communicate and being mindful of what you're trying to articulate, and then also being mindful and respectful of the other person too. And we see that impact all over the world of not communicating and not listening to the other person or the other group or culture or religion or politics. I mean, it's across the board. Fundamentally, we cannot continue to evolve. We cannot continue to function and prosper unless we learn how to communicate and be acceptful of what the other person's saying without judging it, without saying it's right or wrong, but just allowing them to be heard, to be noticed, to confirm that they are here. And then you can take dialogue to where you want it to go, or on your part too. So it's just much more natural. It's a much more peaceful process if you choose it to be. And that's a good key.
Well, I think part of our relationship is that we judge a lot. I think we're constantly judging our relationship. I think that's so important to just let go of that judgment with everything. I think that's why we have so many, with women, especially, we're kind of catty a little bit, and we judge based on look, which is a natural thing for everybody. But when we judge, then we already putting up a wall, and everything else that comes in is kind of filtered through those judgments.
I know. You know what a good exercise I do, because we are so not in the moment. We have things to do. We have errands to run. We have work to do. We have people to see, places to go. And the exercise I do is at the grocery store. And you don't even realize you're judging because it's just so part of our psyche and what we do. Everything we do is judging. We do racial profiling. We do stereotypes. We categorize and we put people in little compartments in our head and in our society too, and it's all over the world. So the exercise I do is I try to be more aware of what I'm judging and how I'm interpreting a person just walking in the same aisle as me. And so I don't damn it, I don't praise it, but I just allow it to be there, so I'm more aware of it. And I've noticed that the more I'm aware of it, the more I am mindful of that particular part of my psyche, the less I've been doing it. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a good exercise to do, and you end up responding to people in a totally different way that you would have if you were not aware of that part of yourself.
Right. That's good. Yeah, and especially with our close relationships, we tend to judge because we have so many ideas of what a person should be doing, and
exactly.
And so when they don't conform to that little box that we live in, we automatically put a judgment on it.
Right, and we.
Go.
Oh, and we take we consider it a personal rejection of us because they're not responding in what we deem we are deserving or not deserving of. And so, we constantly judge just superficial things. So imagine how much more we judge on people we're vested in. And so the personal rejection is not a rejection. That's why you have to allow people, you have to choose. You don't have to choose. You can choose to allow people to be who they are and understand that they are not rejecting you, but allow them to be who they are. And if it's something negative, or then you can evaluate how do I want to respond, because just as much of a right as they have to behave or verbalize who they want to be, you have every right to behave and verbalize how you want to be treated. And if that situation isn't the best for you, then by all means it's okay to walk away. It is a choice, and it's nothing personal or rejecting of that person, but it's just not the type of energy you want. It's not the type of life you want to express. And so you go somewhere or be by yourself or experience something different that fulfills you. And once you allow yourself to not judge and or at least work on not judging and seeing it as a personal rejection, you have so much more freedom in your own space and in your own choices.
Right. So on that note, you talked about choices. So for next time, we'll be talking about our choices in life and how that relates to our relationship.
Sounds good.
So I'm really excited for the next segment, and I'm glad. I'm so happy to be doing this with you, Moya.
Me too. I'm happy. It's scary and exciting and fun all at the same time.
Right. So until next time, join us next time for conversations about life and everything else with Maria and Moya. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.